Okay, boys and girls, this is TheClintmeister again. Haven't done a video in a while. Had some back problems, but let's get on to what we're going to do. This is Dustin's old go-kart. One of the last videos is when I took it to, I did a welding and fabrication class, and I added 11.5 inches to the middle of it. Well, I've got it thrown together. It's not complete, but I'll show you the very innovative things I've done to this Dingo Go Kart that a lot of you guys can do. Up front, I added angle iron to the pedals to make them longer. I also added these pads that I had bent and cut out that make it easier to put your foot on, because it's really tough to get past this steering arm right there. I welded underneath here some 1-inch tubing. Here's one 2x1 or 1.5x2 as a bumper. Right here you can see where I slid pipe over right there and then right here, and connected it back here and strengthened it all up. Now the chair is a regular boat seat. I have a 2-foot section of 3/4 inch board. Now, being the boat seat, it has 4 screws underneath here that attaches to a stand, and that's I just drilled the holes into the bottom of that and went straight into that. Now I painted it with Rust-Oleum. I'm going to go back and get another seat and paint it with vinyl paint. That way the paint sticks better, and then I'm going to blend it in with the paint. This is a safety blue that I had done. Now the motor I got is an older Greyhound 11 horse from Harbor Freight. Now the motor mount has the ability to slide backwards and forwards. That's the adjusted chain. But also down here I had the ability to go left to right, because I needed to shift the motor over to make enough room for this. I got a regular clutch on it. I haven't got the chain on it yet. Experimenting around, may have to go with a bigger sprocket there. Now I found I went with this bigger motor because this is a lot of weight that's on the back. That's a 1-inch extra wide axle. I'm using all-terrains, and I put grooves down the middle because I noticed that these all-terrains have no grip when you slide. And when you threw these, when I grooved them like this, it had side traction. I've got the stops in place, but my key is a little bit too long, so I'm going to have to pull that out and trim it, and then bump these stops up against that. I think I got that lined up. That's a 60 tooth. That's 11 right there. And this is not as big as the tire, so I may have to jump up to a 70. And here's a good idea of how I, on my motor plate, on how I slid it over and how I locked it in place. These 1/2-inch nuts with washers right here, I was able to slide it over and get more clearance, because I know that that shaft stuck out quite a bit right there. This is a motorcycle disc. It's off the front of a Honda 500, and I took a regular, it was a similar, see how this mount is for the sprocket? That's the same thing that's right in here. All I did was put this on there, drilled a few holes, bolted down, and then drilled the rest of them. Now I put a plate right here that held the caliper. I got to put that back on. I bled the brake out the other day ago. Anyhow, with this much weight in the back, it had a regular band brake, and there's no way that thing could hold it. And I take the line. I run it up through here, and then right up in there, kind of hard to see, is a piece of angle iron. You can see part of it sticking right there where my finger is. But that's where it bolts up to the handlebar. And you would normally, like say, pull it like that. And you can see how I got the spring going to it up there. Let me see if I can get a better showing. It's setting up right. And I used this because it was adjustable. And I can put different positions on it. But there's the bar that comes down and activate the brake. Activate the brake that way. There seems to be a lot of travel in it, and that's something I may have to work on, is taking this bar and putting it up higher where it pulls more for more braking. The braking should be really awesome to holding that in. The frame is narrow to where it supports the seat, and I only have one bolt that holds this in, so that goes through one piece right here. There's one or two more bars underneath the seat right there. The motor, I sent Go Power Sports a message asking if they have one of them kits to replace the exhaust, intake, and then a jet, and that usually gives you a couple extra horsepower. I'm going to have to find one of my racing spark plugs. They have a racing spark plug, which is basically a boat spark plug, which will usually add 1 horsepower to a 6 horse, but this is 11 horse, so I'm betting it can add a couple more. But I bought this frame for my nephew Dustin when he was 5, and the agreement then was that Uncle was going to have to keep this, and Uncle was going to work on it. And most of y'all folks know that if you have teenagers around, they tend to tear the crap up. But I've kept this one together. He's about to, well, today's his birthday. I think he's 26, and so I've had this a long time. But the new stuff, I mean, Dustin now, I mean, when he was 5, he was a little squirt. Now he's like 6'3" or 6'4", and so lengthening that out right there and pushing that chair back, I got plenty of room to put him on there to where he can sit on there. And I like the fact that I have space in between the chair and the motor. I can actually push the chair back more. Like I said, I'd like to put that kit on the motor, but a better exhaust, intake, and a jet. Most of these motors, if you have a metal gas tank, you need to coat it, because that's where your rust and crap gets into your motor, and run a better filter, and always put synthetic oil in them. I'm going to retape all this with Gorilla Tape. The Gorilla Tape seems to last a long time. And just some few little things and it'll be done. But I like to build these to where it's going to last a long time, and you can see that's a good setup. A lot of these Dingos, I still see them out there, and that's where I come up with this pad to put your feet on and get your ankles out of this steering rod. So I had some good ideas. I thought I'd share them with you guys out there. And I got more projects now that I'm getting my back together and getting healed up. I got this out here because on this motor, these little things right here which hold the throttle cable are not on this motor. I'm going to have to steal them off this piece, which I got 2 of them right here, to do me up a throttle cable system. And I got 2 throttle cables on the way. I'm going to have to experiment to come up with something long enough. I needed something in the 80-inch area or yeah, 80-inch area, and it's either 70-inch or 100-inch. And I'll have, you know, I got 2 on order. I'll come up with something. Oh, I need to get that spring fixed better than that. I'll just have to move it up higher, get more torque out of it. But it looks good. It'll run good. If you guys get these, fill your tires up, put a couple of good squirts of slime in there, and then fill it up, and then run it around the yard like that and turn it over, and that slime will coat them tires and you won't have to worry about flats. As you can see on this back one, where it was leaking past the rim, that's that slime coming out on that. But I got to get this brake broke in to where this all turns pretty easy and all. This was a fun project, and so there's a lot of good ideas right there. So you guys have a good one. It's been my first video in about 2 years or so, 2 or 3 years. So anyhow, I'll start doing more, and we will catch you guys later.